Hey, what is up, y'all? Welcome to Solo Game Day here at Heavy Cardboard. Teach, play, and discuss medium and heavy strategy board games, war games, 18xx. I am your host, Edward Euler. Happy to be joined by, well, you guys. Solo, right? So here we go. Today, I am bringing y'all The Hunters, German U-boats at war 1939 to 43, designed by Gregory M. Smith and published by GMT Games. So welcome everybody watching live around the world as well as after the fact. I am really excited about today for a number of reasons. We'll get into that here in just a moment. But if you guys do like the show, consider giving it a quick little thumb real quick, subscribe, hit the little bell notification down at the bottom. And last but not least, if you think the work that I do here at Heavy Cardboard and the content I produce is worth $1 or $2 a month, I certainly would appreciate it. You can go to pledgehc.com, support the show there. So The Hunters. Now, I originally streamed this a couple years back, 2-3 years, I can't remember, the original edition of this. I am streaming the original edition again. However, I do GMT and Tony over at GMT was kind enough to send me the upgrade pack for the 3rd edition of it that just recently got printed. It's 3rd edition. I think it's 3rd printing, I think is actually what it's technically called. The 1st edition is totally fine. I think there might be a couple of extra chits, and I do mean a couple by 1 or 2 or 3 that I've actually just supplemented with little cubes. So not a big deal one way or the other. A couple other things about today's stream today. First off, I am not playing with the custom map, or I am not playing with the supplied combat map and supplied U-boat maps, okay? I printed out, I had this printed at Staples and they sent it to me, a custom map called, let me get the exact term, the exact thing that this one is called. So a moment on that, because this is absolutely worth doing if you are into this game. It's called the Hunter's Huge Board. It was designed by Coinskyz, Koinskyz, over on BGG with the help of Lines 42. All right, so this is kind of a combination of their two work, and I'll be honest, it's gorgeous. I think you guys, I've been tweeting out pictures and everything about it. I think it really adds to the immersive gameplay of this. Speaking of which, this is very much a storytelling game. All right, if you don't like randomness and you don't like rolling a lot of dice and having things happen, then this is not going to be the game for you. Just pass it over. However, if you want some stand-up moments and you want some exciting storytelling elements, this is basically a storytelling game for wargamers. All right, and I have really enjoyed all of my handful of plays. I want to say about 5. I played it twice yesterday. I played it once this morning, or at least partially played it this morning to make sure that everything was current and in my head right. But yeah, so just be prepared for that. That there's a lot of die rolling and there's a lot of randomness in this game, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this one. All right, so all right. So, without further ado, oh, I lied. There is going to be one more ado. There are essentially 3 different ways to work our way through the different steps and the different charts in this game. And I'm going to show you all 3 options on what to do as we go along. I'm going to be very methodical and very slow early on. So Vital, if you're watching this, this is going to take longer than you might expect it to, okay? All right, so with that said, I am certainly ready for this one. I hope that you guys are as well. Let's go ahead and dig into the hunters, shall we? All right, so this is the custom map as I mentioned earlier. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys what it would look like without the custom map. So the U-boat that I am going to be the commandant of, or the captain of, down here, this is actually normally, it looks like this. All right, and all of this map up here, all of this stuff that you see up here is actually all of these tracks right here. Now, this is not to disparage what comes in a game. It is perfectly functional and it works perfectly well. If you go back and you watch the very first stream that I did of this, this is exactly what I used. Then, for the combat track, whenever you encounter allied shipping, which is the goal of the game, is to sink these various targets that we're going to be acquiring, it goes on this track right here. Well, that is actually shown down here in this part of the board here. Personally, I like this. I think this looks really, really, really good. And it has a whole lot of the various charts, and I do want to say the various charts that would have to be referenced, and there's those, then there's these. A lot of these, not all of these, but a lot of these are actually over here in these areas. There are different little things right here. There are different little charts all throughout all of this area over here, all right? But again, there are 3 different ways that we're going to be able to go through the various steps of the game, but I will show you all of them, one of which is just using the map over here. The other is actually using the charts and everything that is listed there. And the third and final option is going to be using our little notebook of a little helper sheet that somebody has painstakingly put together that I thought I would highlight. And this is going to be the main way that I actually use to go through the various steps in this game. All right? All right. So what is it we're actually trying to do here? Well, and what is the theme and the setting of the game? Well, we are a U-boat commandant, okay? You can start with various different types of U-boats. We have chosen to man or be the captain of a Type 9 Alpha, which available in September 1939, which is the outbreak of World War II. There are a bunch of other ones. The Type 9 Bravo is available in April 1940, and I think there are like 4 others that are available. It's going to impact where we go on patrol. It's going to be impact the armament, the different torpedoes, the different types of deck guns that we have and everything else. But I have chosen just the standard Type 9 Alpha that was available at the beginning of the war. Now, with that said, we also have a log sheet. Now, this log sheet is going to be basically tracking what it is that we do on our various missions, given what month it is, out on our various patrols out here, okay? So, the Commandant, or myself, Otto D. Hurd, that kind of made sense. It is a Type 9 Alpha, and you know what? Let's do U-boat 807. Since that is the current number of patrons that we have available, for those wondering, it's a new month, so therefore credit card numbers and everything else as such. So we will start in September of 39. Now the game will go until one of 3 things happens. Either we reach June of 43. That's not going to happen. Let's be realistic on that, okay? But it could. the game will end if we make it to June of 43, or if we die, or if we have to scuttle our ship and sink it and we become a prisoner of war. Now, even if we die or we become a prisoner of war, it is still possible to win the game, because the goal of the game ultimately is to sink these target ships. Now, these target ships are going to be dependent on what it is we roll. There are small freighters, there are large freighters, there are tankers, and there are capital ships. All right. Now, the amount of tonnage or the size of these ships is what ultimately is going to dictate whether or not we succeed in the game. The amount of tonnage that we sink, basically, we need to sink 100,000 tons or more to actually win the game. All right. So that is the goal of the game, is to sink tonnage. Okay, but what is it we actually do in the game? Well, what we're actually going to do, and I'm going to take you guys over to this handy dandy little cheat sheet right here and show you guys this. All right. So a detailed setup and sequence of play for the hunters. This is actually what we're going to be using. But the game actually goes through a series of steps. We're going to determine our patrol assignment. So where is it we're going to go out on patrol? Then we're going to actually conduct patrols. So for instance, if we are patrolling out here in the British Isles, we will start at our home base here. We will transit over into the British Isles, do one complete hopefully complete counterclockwise circle, and then possibly come back into our home base. And we would do that to ultimately be able to refit our ship and then go out on another patrol. So all of these various steps are dependent on what happens. Do we encounter aircraft? The ships that we encounter, how many ships, what size, and then are they escorted or not? And then will they damage us and then have to go through repairs and the whole 9 yards? So that ultimately are the various steps. We're going to determine a patrol assignment, we're going to conduct a patrol, and then we will, upon completing there, we will go back and refit, and then go out on another patrol, provided that we don't die. So that's it. Rinse and repeat, and hopefully sink, well, pardon the pun, but a ton of ships. All right? All right. So that's exactly what it is that we're going to be doing. Now, instead of doing a front-end teach, which honestly I think would be nearly impossible with this game, I'm actually going to just start the game, and then we'll go from there, and I will teach it. Actually, the game teaches itself, especially with the detailed setup and detailed sequence of play that we're going to be using for the majority of the play through right here. Okay. Now, obviously, like I said, all this was printed off, and we put number tabs over on it to prepare for it. So if you guys are ready to rock and roll, I am. I'm going to bust out my tea. I will bring the chat up. No product placement with the mouse. It's just my entire area here is taken up by various things. Oh, for those wondering, this is the Portland breakfast to start, and you know I got sent you for the backup tea today. All right. So let's go ahead and bring up the chat and everything over here. So again, we have a U-boat 9 Alpha. The designation is U-807, and I am Otto D. Hurd. By the way, one thing I did want to mention to everybody that may or may not be interested is when Jess and I traveled to Sweden for the Herd Around the World, the game day around the world, we stopped in a little town on the northern part of Germany called Lebu. And in Lebu, Germany, there is a captured U-boat that I believe it was the Swedish or the Norwegians, somewhere in Scandinavia. They had captured the U-boat, and the U-boat specifically is U-995. And then it got returned to the Germans, and it's become a museum, and you can go inside of it. And we actually did go through it. And let me tell you, as someone who is 6'2", it is extraordinarily tiny and claustrophobic in that thing, let me tell you. But it is amazing. We also visited the Naval Museum there in Lebu. And if you ever get a chance, if you want to have a pretty big impact on just the sheer amount of death that was inflicted on the German Kriegsmarine, the German Navy, during World War I and World War II, go see this Naval Museum, because they have two walls. One that is entirely engraved with ships and zeppelins and airplanes and everything, for one that represents each ship and everything that was lost during World War I and World War II. And when there's maybe that much space in between each one, and this thing is blocks long. And when you actually stop and think, there are hundreds of sailors on board each of those ships, just the amount of death that was inflicted was just catastrophic, doesn't even begin. So anyway, that was pretty sobering. It was pretty cool to see some of the stuff from, like, the Bismarck, the insignia of the Bismarck, because as a fan of history, especially of this time period, it's pretty amazing to see some of this stuff there. So anyway, I just thought I would share that little historic tidbit. Without further ado, let's get into the hunters, shall we? All right. So we have already set up everything. We have our markers out here, so let's go over what those are. I am a captain lieutenant, which is the starting rank of our rank of Otto. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and do this. All right, here, let me show you guys this. So we have our starting rank. Our crew is trained. That is the base thing. We have our range marker. We have potential hull damage. We have our flooding damage markers. We have our day or night marker. Hopefully it stays over on night. That's going to be beneficial for us. Then over on the back end of the U-boat, we have already 4 of our 12 steam torpedoes. We have 3 different types of armament on this U-boat, on our 9 Alpha. We have 12 steam torpedoes. We have 10 electric torpedoes, and then we have our deck gun. So back here in the rear or the aft torpedo tubes, we have 2 steam ones already loaded and ready to rock and roll. And then we have 2 others that can be reloaded as we go along. Then moving over to the central part of the U-boat here, we have our deck gun. Our deck gun is a 105 centimeter deck gun, and it starts with basically 5 salvos or 5 shots worth. So you see that there is 2 here, 2 here, and 1 there. So as we expend these, this will be used. Okay. Then over here on the front part of the ship, we have the forward torpedo tubes. So we have 4 steam torpedoes already loaded and ready to rock and roll. So that would give us a total of 8. And then we have 4 back here that are ready for reloads. Then we have our 10 electric torpedoes as well. Now, the difference between steam and electric, to not go into too much detail, but I do think this is important, is steam tend to travel a little bit quicker, so they tend to be a little bit more accurate. However, with steam torpedoes, steam releases bubbles when they're underwater. So as these things, as the propellers go and it goes forward, it actually leaves a trail of bubbles to show where it came from. That's bad when you're underwater and trying to be hidden. So therefore, whenever you have you fire steam torpedoes, if you do so during the day, well, the targets can see where you are. So that can be really bad. Whereas electric torpedoes are a little bit slower, a little bit less accurate, but they don't leave that telltale stream of bubbles. So you can a lot more incognito. Now during night, it's moot. It's no big deal. So we might as well use steam. So that's going to be really, really good to use steam, provided that it's at night. And night is always good because U-boats, it's all about hidden attacks, right? All right. So let's go ahead and start our very first patrol. Here we go. So the first thing says we have to determine our patrol assignment. So we have to look at what our patrol assignment could be. All right. So the very first thing we see that we go into packet or chapter number 2. All right. So we go ahead and this here, all of this is the setup, which we've already gone and done. So we go to tab number 2 and we actually walk through the steps here. The steps here say, depending on our rank, all right, so none of that is us. So we need to roll a 2d6 and then look under the appropriate column. Well, we are 1939, so we're going to roll, and depending on what it is we roll, that's going to dictate where it is that we go, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and roll 2d6s. So now, if this is too loud or gets annoying, I saw that Ardwolf did this, and actually this worked pretty well, and they bounce around pretty good. It makes it look really good, but if it's too loud, let me know and I'll break out the dice tray. All right, so we rolled a 3. So we come over here and we look. That is a British Isles. Now, it does have a asterisk, but as it is, we do not need to worry about the asterisk. So we are going, our first patrol is going to be the British Isles. All right, so let me put on the old spectacles and let's go ahead and get this ready. So, what patrol? It's the British Isles. All right, so we have determined where we're going to be going. Now, what it was not, oops, whoa, what happened there? I think I might have accidentally hit it. So sorry about that. Yow! Okay, let's get off of that. Sorry about that, guys. Try that again. All right, so the British Isles. Now, it did not say an M here for a mine lane special assignment. So it's just going to be a regular, just British Isles assignment. Okay. All right. So the next step now, bring that around, get that ready, is we now need to conduct patrols. All right. So the encounter chart, and we go into packet number 3, and then complete all the steps prior to determining the encounter. Okay, so we need to go to packet number 3. Okay, packet number 3 says, as we go, all right, conduct a patrol. So we're going to roll 2d6 and check the encounter chart depending on where it is that we are. Where are we? We are the British Isles. So we're going to go ahead and roll now and figure out where that is, or what kind of potential patrol we're going to do. But first and foremost, check that. We are in a transit box. So here is where we are, okay? In fact, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit on that, and I will show you guys this. This probably makes more sense. All right, so our home is up here, by the way, for those that care. Lebu, Germany is actually like right here. So this is actually really close to where we're beginning. So we have a transit box. We're going to be going to the British Isles, which is going to be this patrol over here. So we actually have, if you notice, 2 transit boxes. Okay, we have our home transit box outlined in red, then we have the first transit box outlined in red, and then we have a bunch of black outlined boxes over there, okay? Now, the reason I bring that up is because if we come over and we look at the legend, okay, the legend up here, all right? So the legend says import and transit boxes up at the top, okay? So you'll see the first transit box here says before July 1940, okay? So there. So technically, I guess, our first transit box will technically be right there. But it's going to be just a regular transit box, okay? And then read the patrol wheel counterclockwise, but do a normal transit box here as well, okay? Then, when we get into the patrol boxes, we're going to do normal patrols. And you'll notice here, encounter checks, all right, it says here, for a 9 alpha, roll twice for a 9 alpha. So when we get to that, and you'll notice that this one shows, whenever we have it colored in the top left corner or the top left quadrant, that is going to be for our specific U-boat, okay? So 2 normal transit boxes, as you can see there. So normal transit box here says, if we roll a 2 or a 3, we're going to have an encounter with an aircraft. If we have a roll a 12, we're going to have an encounter with a ship. Anything else, no encounter, and we just move on through. All right? So let's go ahead and head over to our dice roller, and let's go ahead and see what we roll. That's a 4, and a 4 is nothing. Okay. So we made it through that transit box without being sighted, without being discovered or detected. So we move into the next transit box now. So again, the transit box we are going to go through. So we will roll again. And that is a 6. And again, nothing. So we're good to go. So now, over here, you'll notice that this is a regular black outline box. It does have for a mission box. That's what the top right there is, but we are not on a mission. We are on a regular patrol. So therefore, we're just going to go through our regular patrol, going counterclockwise. So we go into our first patrol box. We are now in the British Isles patrol box. So let's go ahead and take a look. So British Isles. Depending on what we roll, that's the kind of encounter or the kind of encounter that we're going to have to deal with and hopefully start sinking some Allied shipping. So here we go. Let's roll. Let's see what we got. We rolled a 7. And a 7 is nothing. Okay, so we did not encounter anything, so we just move on to the next encounter box. And now we do it again. That's an 11. And an 11, we have no encounter. All right, so we continue moving on over. So now, here. So now you'll see whatever number it is the number that we would actually do. How many different encounters there would be, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, if you take a look here, you'll see that there is a 2 in the bottom left and a 3 in the bottom right down here. But because there is not over in the top left-hand corner, so we do not roll more than once. We just do a normal encounter. However, if we had a Type 9 Bravo, we would actually have 2 different transit boxes here, essentially is what it means, okay? All right, so as it is, it's just a regular encounter here. And again, we're rolling based on this track or this chart right here, okay? So let's go ahead and get over and let's actually find some ships to sink. That's going to be a 6. And a 6 is, hey, we have a ship and an escort. Okay, so we have our first encounter. Now, a ship and an escort. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if we take a look here, ship and escort says, see the attached ship and escort encounter procedure, but I actually have it written right here. So, a ship, all with an escort, right? So here we go. Ship and escort is actually number 7. So we're going to go to packet number 7. Packet number 7. Here we go. Ship and escort procedure. Easy enough. All right, determine if the encounter is at day or night. So here we go. 1 through 3 is day, 4 through 6 is night. Now, one other thing that I would like to point out is if we go to the center of the U-boat, and I will show you guys this. Oop, let me go ahead and move this over a little bit. All right, if you look right here, day or night, and it says 1 to 3 or 4 through 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll, and we're only rolling 1d6. So hopefully night. It's not. That's day. That's not good. All right, so we make sure that our day-night marker is on day. Good to go. Done. If the result was day and you want to take a chance to switch to night, you can roll a 1d6 and check the results. Okay, so here, and we go back to our, I will also show this on our, on the map, that you can see that we run a risk, a 1 through 4, to switch it to night, because night is always beneficial to go hunting ships at night, or the target is lost. If the target is lost, that just means, well, that's it, and we just go to the next travel box. It's a risk that we're running, all right? So if we take a look out here, it says, if switched to night, a 1 through 4 is, so it says the exact same thing. I'm just showing you two different ways that you can see it. One here on the custom map, and one over here there. So I'll leave it up to you guys to begin. Do we go ahead, we have a 2/3 chance that we wait it out and we wait till night, or do we just say to hell with it and we attack during the day? We take a bigger risk though if we attack during the day. You guys decide. First one to say 2 answers. So day or night, you guys just tell me. I'm not going to ask every time, but I figured to be able to get started, we'll go ahead and do that. Plus, keep you guys engaged on this. All right, first 2, Peter and Patrick both said wait for night. Okay. Oh, first 3, here we go. So we're gonna roll. We need to roll a 4 through 6. I'm sorry, a 1 through 4 for night. Here we go. Nope. It's gotta stay in. Nope. We lost the target. Okay, so what does that mean? That means, well, womp womp. So we just advance to there. We took a chance. Okay, didn't work out. All right, so what do we do now? We actually go back to our encounter chart because we lost that encounter, right? So we now come back, oh, wrong one, sorry. We come back and we're now rolling on this chart, rolling 2d6. Blarg. All right, here we go. We rolled an 8, and an 8 says, oh, ooh, we just have a ship. That's nice. Why, you might ask? Well, if we look here, if just a ship, unescorted. Ooh, all right. So here we go. Just a ship is packet number 6. All right, so let's go over to packet number 6. The nice thing about this is it's just a sitting duck. Ooh, Nelly. Here we go. All right. So day or night, same thing. Here we go. It's day. I'm sorry, this one's night. Yay. There. So we're going to go ahead and flip this over to night. Oh, he's in a world of hurt. Okay. So now we're not on an Arctic patrol, so we don't need to worry about that. All right. So if the result was day, we don't need to do that because it was night. Okay. So now place the day-night marker. Done. Refer to determine the ship size. Roll a 1d6. It's either going to be a small freighter, a large freighter, or a tanker. All right. So now if we come over here and we look, that same chart is actually right here. Ship size, small freighter, large freighter, or tanker. And those are going to be all these chits over here. Okay. Now, notice that it cannot be a capital ship because a capital ship would always be escorted. Capital ship are the big boys here. So this is unescorted, so we're just going to roll a 1d6 and see what kind of ship it is. It's a 2, so it's going to be a small freighter. So we're going to grab a small freighter and we're going to put it here as target 1. All right. So find the current ship marker and put it in the box 1. Okay, I'm a little bit ahead of myself. All right. Then refer to the various charts to determine the size of the ship and then roll on the D10 chart to determine the ship size. So let's go ahead and find this chart right here. It is a small freighter. So depending on what we roll, we're always going to roll. A black die is going to be the 10s, and a white die will be the single digit, the singles. Yeah, whatever. You get the idea. So let's go ahead and switch that out for the two 10-sided dice. So that is 83 we rolled. 83 says it is the Condylis, a 4,400-ton Condylis. All right, that's a pretty good little ship right there. It's not massive, but it's not tiny. So now, HMS World of Hurt, exactly, Patrick. So we have a 4,400-ton Condylis. So now we're going to come over here, and we have our first ship. It's 4,400 tons, and it's a small freighter. So I'm just going to put a little S for a small, and for thematic reasons, we will put Condylis. Just for the name. There we go. Okay? So we have done that. We are ready. We have marked it. We can take that chart, set that one aside, because we have determined what actual ship we're going to be fighting against. Okay? So it says to actually go through the log ship procedure here, which I actually just did, but I'm going to show you guys this, and I want to write this so I don't have to reference it every time. It is number 22. So we go to number 22. Again, we're going to take our time going through this to begin with. Okay? So right after identifying the ship, as you can see here, you wrote the name, you write the S for the small freighter and the size of it, just like what we did. Then determine if we sink it or if it's damaged or whatever. We'll come back to this. So now, let's go ahead. Okay, good, Peter. Thanks. All right. So now place the target ship marker on the appropriate damage box. So, because it is a small freighter, it's going to be on the 2 damage space. So we come over here and we look. The 2 damage space, oops, let's try that again. Let's move that over to here. There we go. The 2 damage space says a small freighter. The large freighter or the smaller tankers, a large freighter or tanker that is bigger than 10,000 tons, and capital ships. But as it is, it's a small freighter. Regardless of the size, it will go onto the 2 damage space, meaning we need to damage it twice. We need to have 2 hits on it to be able to sink it. Not 2 hits, but do 2 damage on it. All right. So now it says down here, go to the combat procedure with no escort present. And I'm looking over here that says the no escort present is actually going to be number 16. Okay. All right. So number 16. So we now go over to packet number 16. Combat procedure, no escort present. There we go. All right. Day or night. If it's during the day or night with no escort, the U-boat can attempt a surface attack without penalty. All right. Decide if the U-boat will fire forward torpedoes, aft torpedoes, deck gun, and to be able to fire the deck gun, it must be at close range, or a combination of all 3. There's no penalty applied for a 2-salvo attack due to the fact that there's no escort. the U-boat can fire up to 2 points of ammo from the deck gun. And to conduct 2 salvo attack, place the first salvo, in other words, the forward torpedoes, which will fire first, opposite from the second salvo, the aft torpedoes, which will fire second, or vice versa, whichever you choose. You can wait and see the results of the first salvo before deciding to fire the second salvo or the results from the deck gun. So you are allowed to do that. Good. So now, place the selected torpedoes and up to 2 points of ammo in the torpedo or gun attack box on the U-boat combat display. All right, so what do we want to do? I say we go in at close range. Why? We're at night and there's no escort. So therefore, we can fire the deck gun if we do a surface attack. So what we need to do now is we need to actually show that it is a surface or submerged attack. Now, with that said, the first edition, to the best of my knowledge, does not have that chit for surface or submerged. So this is where a little cube just works. So it's going to be a surface attack. We already established that it's going to be done at night. And because it's a surface attack, we can use the deck gun. So we're going to take the 2 ammo of the deck gun and go ahead and put it over here to show that that's going to be part of the first salvo. All right. In addition to that, you know what? We need 2 hits, but let's go ahead and fire 2 torpedoes as part of the first salvo. All right. And I don't think we're going to need, we should be able to, but just in case not, as a second salvo, we will go ahead and fire the 2 aft torpedoes if need be. But remember, we're allowed to look after the deck gun fires. Do we want to fire those? Then after those fire, do we want to fire those? And since we're allowed to do that because there's no escort, I see no harm in making sure that we kill this small freighter. The reason being, we only have 1 more space on this patrol. We want to get sinking some ships. So let's go ahead and make sure that we do so. All right, so we have decided we are going to be at close range and we are going to be surface. So it's going to be close range. Place the designated range marker in the appropriate box. In close range, added increase hit percentage and the U-boat is able to fire the deck gun. Okay, so what is our range over here? And our range, I will show you guys this momentarily. So the range goes to close range right there. And you'll see here that it says the torpedo and deck gun, okay? But we don't need to worry about detection because it's unescorted. Awesome. All right. So we've chosen our range. Now fire the weapons and salvo in any order and wait to see the results before firing the next weapon. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. So we have to fire now. We're going to fire the deck gun first, okay? So the deck gun and the U-boat torpedoes, it's the same thing. We're going to roll 2 d6s, and then we hit on 8s or lower, and we miss on 9s or higher, okay? Then, oh, by the way, the modifier here does not apply because we do not have a torpedo aiming device. I don't believe that we do. And Patrick and JT can correct me if I'm wrong. So we don't have any modifiers. We don't have a green crew. We have a trained crew. Our commandant does not hold any kind of awards yet. We do not have any generic crew seriously wounded or KIA. Our commandant, me, is not seriously wounded. It is not the second salvo torpedo. Yeah, and we are not at medium or long range, and we don't have anybody that is seriously wounded. Okay, so let's go ahead and just fire, and we're going to have 2 hits because we're allowed to fire 2 ammo or 2 shots of the deck gun. So here we go. So we need 8s or less to be able to hit. So this is on a D6. We will replace those. So we'll roll both of these. All right, that is 2 hits. Awesome. So now we need to figure out whether or not they actually hit. Okay? And a moment, real quick. Let me check one thing. Nope, wrong chart. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There. There it is. Okay. So let's come back to this. So we have 2 hits. We've already done that. We go to the next page. Determine dud torpedoes, because now just because they hit doesn't mean they actually blow up, because you have to roll. There's a 1 in 3 chance that our torpedoes suck. Because it's 1939 and it is a steam torpedo, on a 1 or a 2, they would fail to actually explode. If they were electric, because they required more maintenance, there's a 50-50 shot they actually don't blow up. Okay? Okay. But as it is, that wasn't torpedoes. This was the deck gun. So, here we go. So now we're going to roll 1d6 on the deck gun. All right? So, hold on one second. A moment. I think actually, isn't that supposed to be a D12 instead of a D6? Because there's no way, I guess, modified. Check that. It's D6. So you'll notice that on a D6 of a roll of 0, it does 2 damage. How do you get a roll 0? On a 105 millimeter deck gun. That's what we have. So it's a -1 to our roll. All right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and roll that now. For each hit, that's a 2 and a 6, so it's really a 1 and a 5. So a 1 does 2 damage, and a 5 does 1 damage for a total of 3 damage. Well, 3 damage. 1 sunk. Dead. We killed it. All right? All right. So, and just as a reminder, so we did 3 damage, but here it points the same, but we know because it's 5. Let me show you guys this. 5,000 tons or less. So there we go. So we have now sunk it. Now, if there were another round of attacks needed, we would go through that, but we don't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, for the duds, it's 2d6 and then, yeah, 2d6 to hit and then a d6 for dud. Yeah, I did it right. Okay, we're good. Okay. So we now destroyed it. So we need to go to the log here. So here, right after completing the combat procedure, put a check mark next to the tonnage value for damaged ships and draw a circle around tonnage values for sunken ships. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we have sunk 4,400 tons of Allied shipping so far. Done. The Condylis is down at Davy Jones's locker. All right? Done. All right. Awesome. That's the end of that encounter because there are no ships remaining. There's no following. There's nothing to follow. So now we advance to the next one, and we come back to packet 3. I've already done better than I did in my first game, I believe. So we now roll again for here based on the last patrol box. Okay? So we need to roll 2d6. and that's going to be a 7. And the 7 says nothing. Okay. So now we have another transit box. So now, actually a moment real quick. The resupply when you reach the on-station travel box, meaning this one here after we have completed our mission, all right, we have the choice that we could resupply at sea or proceed all the way back home, okay? Now, here's what the things that we need to consider. If we travel all the way back home, then we run a risk of destroying, being targeted and being seen, because we're not going to, there are no encounters that are good for us to be able to sink ships here. These are just basically the allies get pot shots at us. There is one other thing I probably need to back up as well. Let me show you guys this as well. So, a moment. The small freighter got destroyed. We used both of the ammos here, so these are actually removed. However, and you know what? Let's be a true war gamer. I have my tweezers. So we did not fire our torpedoes, so our torpedoes stay in the tubes, ready to rock and roll. Now, if we try to resupply at sea, we can stay out here and do another patrol and not waste time. We took no shots and we used 2 ammo. That's it. I think, honestly, we ought to stay out and try to resupply at sea. It's what makes the most sense, because we really didn't do a whole lot out there, and we took no damage in the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, let's go ahead and check that out. So, resupply at sea, I believe that is going to be packet number 21. So, packet number 21. Hey, Jens. Greetings from Germany. Seems appropriate. Resupply at sea procedure. After conducting encounters in the final on-station travel box for that patrol, the U-boat has a choice to determine if resupply at sea is possible. Okay? So now, if we roll a 1 on a D6, then it's possible. If not, due to weather, miscommunication, some other logistical problem, then we just go to the next travel box. Okay. So let's back up one step. This did say that we had to perform the encounter on the transit box, right? So let's go back. So we have to do the rolling here on our transit box. So anything but a 2, 3, or 12, and we're good to go. All right, so we're good to go. So now we need to roll a 1 on a 1 to 6 to see if we can even outfit it or refit at sea. So here we go. We need to roll a 1, ideally. Hey! We get to resupply at sea. Awesome. Nice roll. So now, I guess I didn't need to come all the way back. So, a moment. All right. So, resupply is possible. Go to step 2. If resupply at sea is possible, the U-boat immediately rolls on the Bay of Biscay table to reflect the added risk and exposure of being surfaced to transfer stores. So now we're going to roll 2d6 and we're on this chart. Now, this chart is also the same chart that is over here in number 3 over here, but it's right there, so we don't need to go through it. So now 2, 3, 4, all bad. Okay? 6 through 12 is okay. All right, so 2, 3, or 4, bad. So 5 or higher we want. 2d6. Okay. That's a 4. That's bad. Well, all right. If an aircraft encounter result, then no supply is possible regardless of the result of the engagement. Resolve the encounter. Well, damn, we don't get to resupply at sea, And we have an aircraft encounter, and I should write this down. This is packet number 4. So packet number 4 now. We come back. Now, we're not going to have to do this for every single patrol that we do, but I wanted to walk you guys through this for each one, for the beginning. Aircraft encounter procedure. Roll 2d6 and add or subtract die roll modifiers. So let's take a look. What are our die roll modifiers? No issue, nothing with the crew. Our dive planes are not damaged. Oh, but it's -1 because we have a Type 9 U-boat. And a +1 because it's 1939. So a +1 and a -1 offset each other, and that's it. So nothing here. So we're going to roll a 2d6, and ideally we want a 6 or higher so that we are actually a successful crash dive and we avoided detection, or really just they tried to attack us and missed. So we need a 6 or higher. Please. 6 or higher. Boom. So successful crash dive. Dive, dive, dive. All right, done. Now, it doesn't matter. And I will be doing this for the variable type of aircraft and type of escort, but when we get there, so no hits, so we completely ignore it. We're done with that encounter. So now, we need to now have another regular transit box, because now we have to go back to port because resupply at sea was not available because the aircraft spotted us. So, again, we go back to the encounter chart, 2, 3, or 12, or nothing happens. That's a 5. Excuse me, a 5, nothing happens. We have made it back to port successfully. We are safe. Excellent. So now we have to, right here, once completing the last travel box, put it into the refit box. We've done so. Complete the refit boat procedure. Okay, so now we need to go into packet number 24. So packet number 24, back of the box, or back of the book. We then bring that over, refit the U-boat. Upon completing the final travel box of the current patrol, place the U-boat marker in the port. Done. Assess the U-boat damage and duration to complete all repairs. Note, add a month to refit time if the whole damage marker is on one of the first 3 boxes. Oh, what does that mean? Well, let's take a look over here. Now, obviously, we have no damage, but I figured now's a good time to show you guys this. So this is our hull damage. So if our hull damage marker were in one of those 3 spots, it would add a month to the refit. If it were in those, it would add 2 months. If it were in those, it would add 3 months. But notice, if it actually makes it all the way to here, a Type 9 is sunk. That's not good. So be careful with that. Refit time is adjusted by rank. So nothing. Okay. Record the refit time. I'll be honest, I have never made it to port without being damaged. So I assume it's a month? Or is it? So the next thing, record the refit duration, the total sunk tonnage for the patrol, and then at the end of the row, if it was successful. Draw a circle around the S, successful patrol, to indicate a crew advancement check. All right, we'll come back to that here in a second, but let's go ahead and do that. So what is our total tonnage sunk? 4,400. And it was successful. Okay. And the refit's always a month, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a refit right there. Okay. So October 39, we were just hanging out in port. The guys were successful. Awesome. Check for crew recovery and possible replacement. Nobody was damaged. There's no added time. There's no nothing like that. So we can just skip all of this for now. So now we go to the next page. Check for crew advancement. Every 3 successful patrols. Well, we've only had 1, so no crew advancement. And then check for a Commandant promotion. Well, this is after the 12th month of service during the refit phase. Well, we've only done 1 month of service, so nothing there. Oh, and Tracine says it's 2 months for a Type 9. Oh, really? I will have to, I mean, I believe you, but I just wanted to verify real quick. Refit is Rule 1010. I'm not seeing that in the rule book where it's add a month. And Tracine, where do you see that it's an extra month for the Type 9? I understand if there's damage in more than 3 inoperable systems and hull damage, but I'm not seeing... But keep in mind, I have the original rule book. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Hey, Poke. I'm going to go 1 month unless somebody can show me a reference that it's actually our second one. Or it's 2 months, an extra month for a Type 9, okay? Yeah, it's not a real big binder. 10-10-6. All right. Thank you, Ann Tracing. 10-10-6. Extended patrol length. Type 9 models and Type 7 Delta U-boats conducted patrols of greater duration. Place a P in the first month row of the patrol log sheet upon return to base to reflect this extended patrol period before placing an R to the log the month's refit. Aha. Okay, so if it did the patrol in September, then October would say a P, and then November would be the first refit. Aha. So it'd begin its next patrol in December. Excellent. Thank you for the reference, good sir. Or person, I just assumed. So thank you. So this is actually not a refit. This is actually, because it's extended, so that's actually a patrol, and that is the refit there. So we'll just put dashes there to show that. Okay, so now our next patrol will be December of 39. All right, so there we go. Congratulations. Now, when we refit, we get our weapons replenished, but as it is, the deck guns are always refitted to their max capacity, and then there is some amount of torpedoes, but we didn't actually use any of our torpedoes. So, okay, that's done. All right. So let's go out on another patrol, shall we? I mean, I'm just excited that I survived this long. So, what are we doing? We're in 39 till March of 40. We roll on that. So we're going to roll 2d6. Probably the British Isles again, likely. Yeah, I totally missed that, Andreessen, every time I played this. So good catch on that. Thank you. So that's an 8. And an 8 says British Isles. Shocker. All right. So we come back to our patrol log sheet. British Isles, ready to rock and roll again. So we now, there we go. So we have to go to number 3. We're in the transit box again. There we go. 2, 3, or 12. That's an 8. Nothing. We're good. We can advance to this one. Same thing. 5, nothing. And now, let's see what we're going to encounter. We have a 6. And a 6 is a ship and an escort. Here we go. All right. So a ship and an escort is number 7. Here we go. Day or night. Okay. So hoping for night. So 4 through 6. There we go. So we're going to go night. That's awesome. Now things are not. Can I show the legend again? What did the box with the triangle at the bottom mean? Oh, okay, sure. I can show that. A moment. So you're talking about this one right here. And that is, if it were a type 7 alpha, not allowed in that box. But we don't have that problem. So there we go. Okay. All right. So it is night. So we don't need to switch to night. Okay. So now the ship size. Okay. Here we go. Hoping for a tanker. Okay. Oh, Sylvester, thank you for the reminder of that. Every time we roll, every time we're going out on patrol, I forgot that. Every time we go on patrol, so let's back up. We can roll a D6. And if we roll a 1, we choose where we go. Thank you. So let's see. Never mind. So we're in the British Isles. So let's see what kind of ship we're going to come after now. That is a large freighter. Awesome. So we will grab that, and we have a large freighter. And because it's a large freighter, it will be on one of those 2, but we don't know which yet. So now, let's go and grab our target roster. Okay. So let's see what kind of freighter we're going after. So we're rolling now. Remember, the black die is the 10s. Number 28. Number 28 is, the Titan, 9,000 tons. Okay. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So the Titan, huh? All right. So 9,000, it's a large freighter. Okay, and it's the Titan. Forgive my chicken scratch. All right. So, because it is below 10,000, all right. Oh, had we rolled. Wow, the 34. Look at that thing. Oh my, that would have been sexy. All right. Whew. Alas, we did not. So, it is below 10,000 tons. So, there we go. 3 damage here on this. However, there is an escort. Now we have to choose our range, okay? Okay, so now escort present, and an escort present goes to packet number 15, okay? So it's night. Now we have two choices here, as you guys can read, okay? A night submerged then is 1 or 2 salvos with the forward or the aft torpedoes, or both, possibly. However, a 2 salvo escort detection penalty in the first round, it's easier to detect when an escort is present when firing 2 salvos. So we need to take that into consideration. All right? And note, you cannot wait to see the results of the first salvo before deciding to fire the second, because you got to fire quick and bug out because there's an escort. And an escort, its job is to find you and kill you. All right? You know what? Just realized I could bring these up here and I will keep it there. There we go. There. All right. That's better. There we go. All right. So, if we do a surface attack, it's riskier. And then forward, again, same rules apply here. I think we do submerged, okay? Let's be smart. It's not a massive shot, a massive large freighter, so I don't think it's worth the extra risk. So I think we do a submerged attack to begin with. So we're going to go ahead and say that we are submerged there, okay? All right. Then we have to determine the range. Close range is dangerous with an escort, okay? If firing at close range against ships with an escort, first you have to roll on the escort detection chart prior to firing torpedoes. So they're going to get 2 chances to discover us at close range. 2, before we fire and after we fire. If it's detected, you just don't attack. Now you have to avoid depth charges. That's bad. So, do we, is the question. What range? And remember, we're firing steam torpedoes, okay? So we don't have to worry about the modifiers here for electric torpedoes. So I think we fire. We need 3 hits, right? So let's do this. We're going to fire. We're on the first box. So we're going to go oh hell, let's just unload all 4. We're going to shoot all 4 of those bad boys. And I think we only do 1 salvo at medium range. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Okay? So we're going to change our range to medium. Okay? And we're going to fire 1 salvo. We're submerged, so we cannot fire the deck gun. So we're just going to fire all 4 torpedoes, 1 salvo from the forward tube. And remember, if we chose to do the aft as well, we could not wait to see how those what happened to those before we fired those. And I don't want to shoot 6 torpedoes on a large freighter. I think 4 is good. Remember, we have 22 torpedoes total, and we still have 4 more encounter boxes to go through. So that feels pretty good. All right. So we're going to roll for each salvo. All right. So we have 4 torpedoes. We hit on 8 or less, and we have nothing else, no modifiers. So 8 or less here. We have 3 dice. So let's go ahead. Sorry. Hold up. 2d6. So we'll do one shot at a time. I apologize. Hold on. Okay. Hey, Tim. Here we go. First torpedo is a hit. So there's 1. That's a hit. That's a hit. And that's a hit. All 4 torpedoes hit. But now, as you guys know, here we go. We have to roll a D6. Okay, so D6 on Steam, because we're in 1939, there is a chance that they do not explode. So now we have to roll for each of them to see whether or not, for each one that hit, actually, it does clarify this. For each one that hit, I do not have superior torpedoes. So here we go. Duds just are gone. They just hit and basically bounced off. So we want 3 through 6s for each of them. All right? Oh, I guess, fair point. Because I'm at night, I technically hit on 7s or less, 9s or less. So, doesn't matter, it's moot. So we want 3s or higher. Here we go. So we'll do 3 at a time here. 2 of them are duds, so 2 of these just go away. That sucked. And 1 hit, 1 exploded, and now we have 1 more. Oops. 2 of them exploded. All right. Well, at least there's that. Half of them. Okay. So now we go to how much damage? A D6. So for the 2, we need to do 3 damage total, and we are not firing our deck gun, so we need to do 3 damage total. So here we go. That's going to be a 3 and a 5. A 3 and a 5. That's going to be a total of 3 damage. We sunk her. All right? Woo! So, we have sunk it. So let's come on back here. The large freighter, 3 damage. Awesome. That's good. So, good thing we fired all 4 torpedoes, because only 2 of them actually exploded, and we needed both of them to sink it. All right? So, that large freighter is now dead. So we will come back now to our patrol sheet. We've sunk it. So we circle it to show that we sunk it. Awesome. Hey, Vince. All right, so now, after logging the targets, go to the escort encounter procedure. We have to go to number 12. So we move back to the packet number 12. So now, because, keep in mind, we had an escort. Because we were medium range, all right, we did not have to worry about it yet. But, and I do want to kind of walk through it also on this. So you'll see this actually is outlining, just not in as much detail, is the same thing that the packets do. Okay? Roll for night, and then determine the ship size. Switch to night if you want. Select the range. Select submerged or surface. Assign torpedoes, fire torpedoes, and then determine damage. We've already done that. Now we are up to step 8, escorts attempt detection. However, if we were at close range, okay, at short range, escort detection happens twice. Once here, and then the normal time for escort detection. So again, I told you there are 3 different ways we can do this. This is 1, using the packet is 2, and then using the various escort detection is going to be up here as well, okay, for that chart. And I will walk through this one a little bit slowly and do it all to show all 3. Who made the packets? Mira asks. Sure, give me a second. I will look. This is called The Hunter's Detailed Setup and Sequence of Play Guide from AUY2K is who made this. Okay, there we go. Hope that answers that question. All right. So let's go through. Here we go. We have to place an escort, but we are going to do the variable escorts because honestly, I think that's more interesting. So we're in 39. So what kind of various escort? Hopefully we roll a 1. Oh, or a 1 through 5 isn't bad. A 6 sucks. Okay. Ah, well, there's that. So a 6 is going to be a veteran. Notice a elite is not available. So we're going to grab a veteran escort. So off board over here, we're going to grab a veteran and put it here in the escort, and it's +1 hit. Okay. So I will show you this a little bit in detail. So right here on the escort spot, right there, the veteran +1 hit. Okay. So now escort detection. Is it a wolf pack? Nope, there's no wolf pack because there was nothing calling out a W in anything that we've done so far. So, okay. So before rolling, we have to make a decision to exceed the test depth or not. If decision is made to exceed test depth, in other words, go deeper, dive deeper than the ship is actually designed to do, apply the following roll, or the following. A -1 die roll modifier for escort detection. So in other words, it's a little bit easier to avoid detection, all right? And a +1 hull damage penalty. So I'm always going to have 1 hull damage. Place the hull damage marker in the first box of the hull damage track, or if there is already previous hull damage, advance it. So again, remember, hull damage is here, and that's going to add to our refit time. And this is, keep in mind, because it was escorted, we're still here in our first on our patrol here. So I don't think we're going to exceed test depth. So we're not going to bother with that. So now we have to roll 2d6 and add or subtract any modifiers. Okay, so what modifiers are there? The years don't apply. Our commandant doesn't have any of that stuff. None of these things are destroyed or damaged or anything like that. It is not day. However, it is a G7A torpedo. These are steam torpedoes. By the way, I misspoke earlier. Okay, so we get a +1 to our die roll, which is not good for us because steam leaves trails. Okay, again, close range, we're not doing 2 salvos, no wolf pack, we're not at long range, and we're not exceeding test depth. So we add 1 to our roll. Okay, so in other words, we need a 7 or less to stay undetected. So come on, 7 or less with 2d6 here. Okay, 7 or less, you betcha. We are undetected because the +1 because of the steam. So, all right, we're undetected. So, escape detection. Okay, done. All right, that's it. No attack. So that is the end of that encounter. We now move over to the next box. No, the veteran escort is only, if used it during the day. Oh, yeah, I guess so. That's a fair point. So I didn't misspeak earlier. If you're using a G7A torpedo during the day, it would be a +1. So we were safe on an 8 or lower. Good catch on that, Patrick. By the way, no, Mira, to be clear on this, and I do want to point this out, yeah, there you go. You got it. It's a +1 hit if they hit. It's not +1 to hitting. It's just they would have done extra damage if they hit, but they didn't detect me, so they didn't hit. There we go. All right. So now we go back to number 3. Let me get this. I wanted a smaller 3-ring binder for this, but alas, it was not to be. I didn't have any. I apologize. So we're in the British Isles. So here we go. We're in the regular one. Let's go ahead and roll. Let's see what happens. 2d6. That's an 8. And an 8 is, oh yeah, just another little ship. That's awesome. All right, so we go to 4. Oh, sorry, not 4. Reading. No escort, 16. Sorry. All right. Day or night. And then go through everything again. So let's see. Day or night. It's during the day. Okay, so flip this over to day. We need to get rid of the escort marker. We need to move the range marker back. And everything else is ready to rock and roll. Now it's day. I don't think... oh, you know what? I totally missed the step. Hold on one second. Should be on 6, not 16. I'm sorry. Whoop. Oh. All right. Let's get to the right one. This is number 6. Here we go. There we go. All right. So it's day. Do we switch to night? Yeah, let's go ahead and try and switch to night. All right. So on a 1 to 4. All right, we switched to night. Woohoo! All right. Now we're going to do well, hold on. Let's determine. I'm getting ahead of myself. What type of ship it's going to be? Come on, 6. It's a 2. It's a small freighter. Womp womp. So small freighter will go there. But as you guys know, we now need to determine which small freighter it's going to be here. So we will roll the black die is the 10s, remember? That's number 90. Number 90 is, oh boy, the Woensdrecht. Woensdrecht. That is 4,700 tons. All right, so we have that. Forgive my chicken scratch. Okay. Oh, I guess that's a good point. There's no need for a single ship to switch to night, so I guess that was an unneeded risk. That's a good point because it's not escorted. All right. Yeah, good point. All right. Put that chart back. Okay. So we have our target. So it only needs 2 hits. So now we go to 16. So now we have to determine range. And you know what? There's no reason not to do short range at night. So yeah. In fact, there's no reason not to do short range or close range, period. It's going to be a surface attack. We will go ahead and fire our deck gun. Oh, by the way, we can reload. I forgot to do that. Okay. Hey, Renee. So we will reload. We're going to reload with 2 electrics. It's electric. And 2 steam. And because it's unescorted, we can do essentially 3 salvos, if you will. We'll fire the deck gun first, then we'll fire the 2 steam. And that's it. I'm not going to fire the electrics. Yeah, final answer. Done. So now we need to see, so we're at night. Unescorted surface torpedoes as well. So it's actually, we're going to subtract 1 so we can hit on 9s or less. Okay? Thank you, MBO, for catching that. That made my day. All right, so 9s or less we hit, and for the deck gun, it's going to be yeah, just straight up 9 or less. 2d6. So deck gun fires once. That's a hit. And a hit. All right. Well, the deck gun automatically hits because we don't have to check for duds. So we're just going to look straight here. And this is going to be a d6, and it is 105 millimeters, so it's -1 on our roll. So for each hit, that's a 4 and a 5. A 4 and a 5. So it's actually a 3 and a 4. So 1 hit, 2 damage. Well, the damage, we need to do 2 damage. Boom, done. Small freighter is sunk. And all we did was use the deck gun. So our steam torpedoes were never used. Awesome. So we can remove this. We then can come back to our patrol sheet, and the Woensdrecht is it's Dutch, and it's now no longer with us. All right, so we can move our range marker back. That's the end of that encounter. So now we go back. To packet number 3. So is this making sense? You guys able to follow along pretty easily? And yes, the packet does make this a whole lot easier until it becomes second nature. But I see no reason not to use it, honestly. So we're rolling on that chart again. So here we go. A 9. And a 9 is nada. All right. Congrats, you sunk a neutral. All right, we advance there. We do it again. You guys can see the dice pretty well from that, so yeah, let's leave it here. All right, that's a 10. And the 10 is, woo, we got ourselves a convoy. Now, a convoy is as big as it gets. There are 4 targets and escorts. This is a big one. So a convoy, I'll show you guys this. A convoy, we go into packet number 11 on this one. All right? You brute sinking Dutch vessels. Yes, I know, I'm terrible. So we go into packet number 11. Here we go. Awesome. Martha says I can follow along even though I've never seen a war game played. Well, mission accomplished then. Convoy. All right, so we start off just like normal. Day or night? Oh God, please be night. 4 through 6, we're at night. We're good. Excellent. Okay, we don't need to switch to night. Now place a day or night marker. Done. Refer to the 4 ship sizes. So here we go. We're going to have to roll that 4 times to be able to determine our 4 targets here. All right, so let's do it. Here's 3 of them. So that looks like, according to this, we have 1 small, 2 large so far, and then 3 large freighters. So 1 small, and we know the small will automatically be there. Oops. A large freighter we don't know the size of yet. Okay, so now we need to actually determine what ships they are, right? Okay, so we'll go left to right. So small freighter first, okay? So roll in the 10-sided dice. Now, could we do the attacks and everything first before we know what ships they are? Sure, we could, but why? I mean, the whole point is the story of the game, right? So we got 95. 95 is the Dayrose. Womp womp. 4,100. Ugh. So, Dayrose. 4,100. And that is a small freighter. So now we need to do the large freighters, and there are 3 of them. So we will roll that 3 times, one at a time, so I can write them down. We have 26. 26 is the Mohammed Ali-Kebir, 7,500 tonnage. That's nice. I'll just call that the Mohammed MAK. Jesus, I cannot write. This is terrible. Okay, next one. 70. And 70 is the Empire Howard at 7,000. Not to be confused with Howard the Duck. He came later. And 55. And 55 is Anselm, 6,000. All right. All right, so that's done. And to show you guys, so we have the Dayrose, the MAK, the Empire Howard, and the Anselm. Target-rich environment, exactly. All right? All right, so now we have our targets. So convoys always have escorts, okay? Because it's more than 4 ships. It's a massive, there are a number of escorts implied in this, okay? So here we go. We're going to go to number 12, packet 12, which is the next page. All right, so we know there's going to be an escort. What kind of escort? We don't know yet. So let's go ahead and check out. So escort, it's going to be, again, we're in 39, so 1 through 6 for that. 2, so that's going to be just a trained escort, our standard escort right there. Okay. So the escort, no modifier, just a regular old escort right there. Okay. No wolf pack or anything like that. So, a moment. Okay. I feel like I missed the step. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, guys. There we go. I just wrote down the wrong number. That should have been 15, not 16. Hold on. There we go. Now we're good. Combat procedure with an escort present. All right, there we go. So, day or night. So, we very much want night on this one. Okay, so we're looking for 4 through 6. That's day. That's not ideal. Okay. We are with an escort in all these targets. I think we have to decide if we wait. Wait, we already had it on night, didn't we? I apologize. Didn't we? Shoot. No, yeah, we had it on night. I am totally getting flustered. I apologize. Hold on. We need to decide on range. Okay. So, I don't think we're going to do a surface attack on this, so we're going to do submerged. And, oh, I so want to do it close range, but the two detection. Well, hold on. What I'm doing is, yeah, there's no penalty if we're on surface. And we get to use the gun. So actually, we're going to do a night surface, but if we do night surface, to be able to do the deck gun, we have to do it at close range. I think that's a little aggressive. So I think we do submerged, medium range. Yeah, I think so. So let's go medium range, and we will actually go submerged there. All right, we're going to do 2 salvos. So 2 salvos, we're going to unload on the whole kit and caboodle. However, what are we going to go after? Oh, shoot. All 3 of the large freighters are under 10,000 tons, so they're all going to require 3 there, okay? So we have 6. How about we do 3 and 3? After that one, which is 7,500 tons, and that one, which is 7,000 tons. I think that's what we do. That's right, and Dennis reminds me you cannot use the gun when an escort's present, so never mind. So we're going to fire 2 salvos. We'll do the first salvo, and I think we go... So that'll be the first salvo, and then over here from the rear tube. Or, yeah, I think we go after those. I think that's what we do. That feels pretty good. All right, take care, Renee. Thanks. All right. So we're going to fire. We're at night, so -1, but we are at medium range for the electric ones, which will offset the -1. All right, so let's do this one at a time, one at a time. So 2d6, doing a steam against the first large freighter, which is the MAK. So it hits on a 9 or less. That's a miss. So that steam missed. Then we will do the electric, which is on a 8 or less. That is a total, like I don't even know where they were firing. That was terrible. Okay. Then on the first salvo, we will also fire here at the Empire Howard. And we will do the steam first, which is on a 9 or less. That's a 5, so that's a hit. And then the electric is on an 8 or less. Has to be inside, we said. That's a 4, so that's a hit. Okay. So now we have to determine if any were duds. We're in 39, so we'll have to roll 1. The black die will be for steam. The white die will be for the electric. All right? So, low numbers. Black die, they both are good, right? Yeah. So we're good. Both hit, both explode. Yay. So now we go to the next page. So they both hit. So now we're going to roll not firing the deck gun. So here we go. So low numbers are good. A 1 and a 3. That's 4. That's 6 damage on the Empire Howard. 6 damage. He only needed 3. The Empire Howard is sunk. Those two have done their job. There we go. So that one is now sunk, so we're good to go there. All right, so now we have to go back to the escort encounter, which is number 12, packet 12. So now the question is, it's just a regular escort, the trained escort, okay? Do we exceed test depth? It causes damage, potentially, but it removes 1 on the die roll modifier. So let's look at the modifier. The years don't matter. Nothing here, nothing damaged. We're at night, so we don't care. We're not previously detected. We're not at close range. We're not at surface, and it's 41 or later, so it doesn't matter. However, firing forward and aft during the first round only. So we're not at long range, so it's a +1. We need to roll a 7 or less, or we could try and exceed test depth, and it would be an 8 or less. 7 or less or 8 or less? A moment on something. Actually, check that. I'm ahead of myself. I actually fire the aft torpedoes first, but when I get to the escort step, it'll be at a +1. So yeah, thank you, Patrick. I just realized that too. So looking at this, we're actually going to fire our torpedoes the first and second salvo. However, they get a +1 because we fired more and it's easier to detect us. Thank you. So the second salvo now. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this one is just wasted because that ship is already sunk. So the large freighter, we're going to fire this one, and that hits. It's at night. It's a steam, so it's going to be on a 9 or less for the hit. That's a hit. And this one just doesn't matter, just goes away. Because you cannot wait to see what happens with the first salvo before you fire the second salvo. Oops, I fired the wrong ones out of the reload tubes. Hold on, there we go. All right, so the first one was a hit. We need to see whether it's a dud. If it's a dud on a 1 or a 2. All right, so we're looking for big numbers. That hit, it goes kaboom. So now we need ideally 3 damage or more. 3 damage or more, we need to roll a 1 or a 2 to be able to hit on that. Now we need a low number. That's a 2, that's 3 damage. Boom! The MAK is sunk. So that one goes away. That was a hell of a shot. It's not how big of the torpedo, it's where it hits. So the MAK is now sunk as well. Well, that was successful. Now we go to the escort. Apologize for doing that out of order a little bit. So now, because of the firing both salvos, it's a +1, meaning a 7 or less. I'm willing to take a risk. So we're just going to roll. We need a 7 or less on a 2d6. Ah! Ah! Had we exceeded test depth, we would have avoided detection. Ah! All right. Go to step 12. Escort attack. Escort attack. Damn it. All right. So now we will do the optional evasive maneuvers here, okay? Our hydrophones are not damaged, so we can do this. So here's what I need you guys to pick. Pick a number 1 through 6. I'm not going to let you guys read it. Pick a number 1 through 6. First 3 numbers picked will be the number. Gives me a chance to take something to drink for a minute here. Anyways. There. We'll have that because that's just pretty to look at. So just a little context. 1 or 2 is evade left, 3 or 4 is evade right, and evade straight is 5 or 6. Didn't know it was going to be an interactive stream, right? So, all right, looks like 6 it is. Okay. So we are going to evade straight, okay? So we're going to roll a 1d6 to determine the escort direction result. Okay. We don't want to roll a 6, I'll tell you that. Okay, that's a 2. So if the escort direction is different from the U-boat's evasive direction, subtract 1 hit from the escort or attack roll. That's awesome. So we did good. We went forward. He thought we were going to go left, and so it makes it a little bit easier for us to avoid. If he had rolled a 6, that would have been +3 hits. That would have been really, really, really bad. All right. So now we have to determine the attack. All right. So -1 hit. So now we're going to roll 2d6, and a 6 or lower is okay because none of these modifiers come into play for us. We are not on a surface attack and none of that. So a 6 or less and we're good to go. On a 2d6, kind of makes sense since, there we go. That's an 8. An 8 is 2 hits, but we remove 1 hit. So we actually only got hit 1. Okay, find the incoming hits marker. So we are taking 1 hit from a depth charge right here. Okay. Now we need to roll. Now, this is where we're going to deviate from this because of the fact that we are actually using the main map out here. And now let me show you guys one of the cool things that I think about this map. Okay. So this map here, you'll notice that all of these different compartments through here have little die numbers. Okay. As you can see, you may or may not have seen these already. Okay. Now, if you take a look here and you see the counters down below where my camera is. Let me move those off. All of these counters right here are actually lined up with the various damage spaces, the dive planes, the electric engine 1, electric engine 2, the diesel engine 2, the batteries, the fuel tank. And then over here we have the periscope, the radio, the hydrophone, all of that we have markers for. And then for other things that we don't, obviously we have the hull down here, we have flooding here, and that's where these markers are going to come into play as well. Now, this map also has custom counters that you can print out and mount in the whole 9 yards. But I thought this would be a really, really cool way to go about doing this. So we have one hit, so we're going to roll one time. The black die is always first, as you can see. Okay. So here we go. I don't know what we're wanting. And I'll be honest, I've never rolled minor damage, so I don't know what that would be. I think that means nothing. I would have to look that up. I don't have to look it up. It's 52. 52 is the deck gun. Okay? So the deck gun got damaged. I don't know what happens with the deck gun. So a moment on that. I'm going to have to look this up. So, a moment. I haven't had those damaged before, so let's look. No flooding, the engines, the hull, the fuel tank. I believe it's just damaged. Oh, you know what? Actually. Oh, here we go. It cannot fire. Following combat, attempt repair for damaged deck gun. I will show you guys the actual chart. Right here, the deck gun. There. Yeah, I know I can try and repair, but this is what I was looking for. So there we go. All right, good. Okay. Place damage marker. Now, the damage markers, I don't necessarily really have for, I have general ones, but basically what I've chosen to do, just to make it easier, is I'm just going to put a red die. Red means stop. Red means inoperable, okay, right now. But I'm going to be able to try and repair this here in a little bit. So there we go. Okay. So now I want to show you guys. Place any damage markers on your U-boat display map over the areas that were damaged. Go back to step 2, escort detection. Repeat until it escapes detection or is sunk. So now we get into an endless loop if we can't do this. All right? So now, pick a number, 1 through 6, and we're going to do it again. Kevin already said 6. There we go. Pick a number, guys. We have to avoid detection. Sorry, check that. Here. Disregard about the picking number. Sorry. So this is going to be only the first round of this. So I believe we do not have to add the +1 now on this. I believe now it's an 8 or less, I believe. Okay. All right, we have avoided detection. We've bugged out. We're safe. That's it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we use a yellow for damaged. We don't know what it is yet. All right. We have now finish the encounter. Okay? However, we can choose to follow now if we wish. Okay? Now, note where we are here. We have one more encounter box. We have sunk quite a bit of shipping. As you can see, we've, so what is that, 9,000, I'm just gonna, let's see, 16, 23, 5, 23, 27, 28, 2, 28,000. So we're at like 33,000 or so. We've sunk total right now. But do we wish to follow? Well, let's go into the follow procedure, which is going to be 18, and let's decide. Oh, previously detected. Yeah, it would have been 7 or less. You're right, because previously detected. Thank you, Merrick. So, thankfully, we rolled a 5, so we're good. Yeah. All right. So now, just before we go any further, let's talk about following. Okay? So here, following is not permitted against unescorted ships. Well, okay, but it is escorted. So follow damaged ships. We don't have any damaged ships, or follow the undamaged ship / the convoy. When choosing to follow any damaged ship that was part of a convoy, contact with the convoy will be lost, cannot be followed again. Right. Conduct any U-boat repairs prior to attempting to follow. Okay, so now we go to 19, which is repair. Repairs are made all at once, made once all combat rounds are completed, before rolling for any possible follow attempts, as it says, okay? I have no expert engineers or anything like that. No additional flooding, because there was no flooding. So, going through what it is. Deck gun. Roll a d6. See what happens. All right, so we want a 1 or a 2. Oh, that's inoperable. Okay, so now that's dead. So I cannot use the deck gun. But you know what? That really was not the worst result that it could have been. Okay? That actually is really not bad at all. So now we get back to the following. Get it? Get back to the following, not the following thing, but following the ships up. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's see. If any ships have been damaged, following is automatic. Okay, but none were damaged. Okay. Attempt to follow ships or convoy. This is what would happen. We roll a d6. On a 1 to 4, the U-boat has successfully followed the ship or ships and re-engaged the convoy. Okay, if a convoy, roll to ID the 4 ships encountered. Do not re-roll for ID on ships with an escort or optional rule. So in other words, hey, look, we found them again. So we wouldn't re-roll for that. If a 5 or a 6, it just goes away and the engagement ends and nothing happens. So basically the question is, now, there is a small freighter and a large freighter, and those 2 ships that are available to us are the Anselm at 6,000 and the Dayrose at 4,100. Honestly, I think they're kind of crappy boats. I don't think they're really worth following. So I'm going to say no, because they're escorted. I'm not going to follow. So if I'm not going to follow, then here we go. We're into the next one. That ended that encounter. So now we go back to packet 3 and we roll on that chart. Easy enough. That's a 4, and a 4 is right there. Nothing. Okay, so we make it into the transit box. The transit box We now are rolling anything but a 2, 3, or 12, and nothing happens. That's a 5, nothing happens. So now, do we wish to resupply at sea? I don't think so, because we use so many torpedoes and everything else. By the way, these should have technically been reloaded. I keep forgetting to do that. So that small freighter went away. The large freighter went away. Cube. So how would we have reloaded them? Probably 2 and 2. So 2. There we go. That's easier. Done. All right, so we're not going to try and resupply at sea. So we're going to go there, which again, a 2, 3, or 12 is all that matters. If I get any of those, nothing. Hey, we have made it back into port. Awesome. So now, let's take a look here. So remember, because it's a Type 9, as was explained, reminded to us, that's on patrol. And this is going to be our refit right there. So now we need to go through the refit. And the refit is 24. Okay. Assess the damage. Okay. So 19 is the repair procedure. All right. Let me see. Oh, no, we've already tried. Okay. So let me take a look here. 1010. I believe it's just going to be the 1 month. Let me double check. All right, refit. So it's only, okay. Add to the baseline an additional 1 month for each increment of 3 or fraction thereof of hull damage sustained, right? Which is that, which is this, but there was no hull damage. Up to 2 systems are redone for free. So our deck gun is repaired. And if it were 3 or more systems, then it would add another month for the refit. All right. So that was a success. So let's put an S next to this one. And now let's do the math again. So that's 9,000 and 7,000. That is 16,000. 16, so 20,700. 27,000, 28,200. 28,200. Nice. That's pretty good. All right. So we've recorded the refit. Okay. Check for crew recovery. Nobody's damaged. Nobody was injured, I should say. 3 successful patrols. We have 2. Okay. Nothing. Nothing. And 12 months for the Commandant, nothing. No awards. Possible reassignment, no. Replenish torpedo loads in ammo markers. All right. Oh, by the way, the torpedo loads that I was talking about, that if you're at sea, resupply at sea, you only get so many. You only get, depending on what you roll. But as it is, now we get to choose a bit. But I think I'm just going to go with the stock load. So it's going to be a total of 12 steam. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 6 more steam. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to load up steam into those. And it's going to be 10 electric as well. So 6, 10. Oh, that's too many. Hold on. There we go. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then there's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 more electric. It's electric. Come on. These guys are Germans. They're very organized. Let's keep these a little neater. There we go. All right. And we need our deck gun reloaded. We are re-outfitted. All right. That's rough, Ken. That's tough. All right. So now it is March 1940. When I return, I will be back in but a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. One other thing. There was comment about my popcorn pants last week. Yeah, the PJs. Got a kick out of that. Some people did. This is a much more serious game, so I'm taking this much more serious. So, I mean, obviously that called for penguin pants. Okay. All right. There we go. There may or may not have been an Amazon delivery of my PS4 that I bought with my poker money. I didn't want that sitting on the front step. So, all right. Hey, real quick, if you guys are enjoying this, give it a thumb down below. I certainly would appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't, and consider supporting the show over on pledgehc.com. Certainly would appreciate it, y'all. All right. So here we go. Woo! All right. We're ready to head on out. Let's do it. So we go back to 3. Check that to 2. It is March of 1940, so it's going to be here. However, remember, I'm allowed to choose if I roll a 1 because of my rank. That was terrible. Let's try that again. Hey! We get to choose. All right. All right. Well, where do you guys want to go? Just to make it a little bit clearer and to make it easier for you guys to see, here are our options. Yeah. So, where do we want to go, y'all? Now, you might be asking yourself, well, okay, those are our options, but what about the targets? We want target-rich environments, right? That makes sense. So, let's take a look here. Here we go. So, capital ships, where are those mostly? So, we notice there's one here in Norway, a lot of convoys in the Arctic, a lot of convoys, and here in the Atlantic, all right? Too many aircraft in the Med, I think. Norway has a capital here and a capital there. There is a lot of unescorted. A lot of unescorted. The Spanish coast has 2 convoys, but yeah. Hey, KZ, thanks. I'm leaning towards North America. Got a lot of transit boxes, though, in North America. Not going to lie. Yeah, no, I'm not going to the Med. That's not happening. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards either Atlantic or North America. Just because of all the convoys, right? All right, so let's look at this. So Atlantic, 2 transit boxes, normal, right? Or North America, there are 3 transit boxes, and there are only 4 here. 5, because there's actually a 2 on that one. It's 1940. Check that. Yeah, it's March 1940. You know what? We're never going to get a chance early on to make it over into North America. Can't you? Oh, you can only choose from the options you can roll? Really? Is that true? Oh, is that true? Hold on. You probably are right. I'm looking. Anything from his next, from the, unless permanently assigned to the art. Okay. Allows the player to request a specific patrol assignment on a 1d6 roll of 1. If this occurs, the player may voluntarily choose his next patrol assignment from the U-boat patrol assignment chart. Okay, yeah. It's only from the ones that you can choose. It's not nearly as sexy. All right. Yes, Indra, it is. Yeah, you're right. So we can choose the Spanish coast, the British Isles. We could choose a mine line one if we wanted, or the West African coast. Yeah, so those are our 3 that we can choose. All right, so West Africa, Spanish coast, or the British Isles. So, getting back to this now. Okay. So, Spanish coast. Spanish coast really isn't too terrible. The West African coast, not terrible either. I think it's better than Spanish. You can't get a capital ship, but a West African you can. And there's more convoys. So I would say one of those 2 as opposed to the British Isles. Ken says Britain, though. So here we go. We will first 1 to 3, guys. I see what you did there last year. Spanish coast it is. All right. So we're choosing the Spanish coast. So March of 1940. Okay. So the first transit box is going to be there. Okay, so transit box 2, 3, and 12. So we have moved out. There's an aircraft. All right, so we go aircraft encounter, which is going to be on packet number 4. All right. You know what? Actually, I've been using this, so hold on. How about we do this instead? Okay. I'm going to use a mix of them because the map doesn't show a whole lot in detail. So give me a second, okay? So here we have nothing here except a -1 for the Type 9. And we're in 1940 now, so no offset. So it's -1. Okay? So we're going to roll a 2d6. Okay? So now let's take a look up here. On the aircraft chart, 2d6. Okay? So we are at a -1 because the type of U-boat right here. So we need to roll. So I will scoot this up here. That is a 6 -1. That is a 5. So that is a 5. 1 attack and 1 crew injured per that. Okay? However, as I promised, one other thing that we are going to play with the variable. So here. So we are in 1940, so I should have rolled for that first because I forgot. Yeah, so 1 attack and then 1 crew injury so far, but we're going to roll on that first. So it's going to be a 1d6. And that's a 1. And a 1 is a green, -1 hit. So green. Now, determine the number of hits. Green, subtract 1 hit. So I don't actually get hit. Even though we rolled the hit, we don't. Now, that the optional thing is not listed up here, but okay, so no hit. Good deal. Check that. Let me try that again. He still attacks. It's still an attack. So now we have to roll for the actual hit, or how many hits. It's -1 hit. So I'm misspeaking here. And I'm trying to see if that is shown on here. I don't know if it is. A moment. It is. Yep, it's exactly what Ken's saying. If we look down here, we're going to roll 2d6, and whether or not a miss, 1 hit, 2 hits, etc., depending on what it shows. So, 2d6. That's a 10. That's 3 hits and a crew injured, but I reduced the hit by 1, so it's 2 hits and a crew injured. I apologize. And nothing else there. Oh, hold on. It's worse than that. Oh, it's worse than that. Oh boy. I rolled a 10. Air gets +2, so that's actually 12. And that 12, that's 5 hits. -1, that's 4 hits. 4 hits and a crew injured. 4 hits. 4. 4 of them. That's not good. Find the incoming hit marker. All right, well, let's move it on down. So that's going to be 4 hits. That should have reset earlier, but 4 hits. And a crew injury. All right, so now we have to roll for this, for the 4 hits. Ouch. Okay. Hopefully the same thing gets hit again and again, because they're not cumulative. Let's hope. Ouch. Oop. 1, 5. So 1, 5 is, let's see. 1, 5 is crew times 2. So that's 3 now crew. So we're just going to go ahead and mark that as 3 over here, 3 crew. That's 1 of the 4 hits. Ouch. 2, 2. And 2, 2 is flooding. Okay. So I will grab one of the flooding markers. There. And I'm actually going to put that in case we roll it again, because that's there. Okay? Two, 5. And 2, 5 is... It's 1, 5. 2, 5 is the flat gun. There. And one more. That's 2, 4. And 2, 4 is flat gun. Okay. Well, there's that. Okay. So now we need to roll for the crew injury. Okay. Now, let me show you guys this. Again, trying to keep it mostly here on the map for this part. Over here in the corner, you see the crew injury. Okay. Or if you prefer, we have this for the crew injury here. Okay. So roll 2d6 to determine who was injured, and then a 1d6 to determine the result of the injury. Okay. Then after determining the injuries, go to step 8 for a flak attack. So we get to punch back a little bit. All right. All right. So here we go. Now, if you take a look, you'll notice here that Commandant, that's me, at 2, etc. Here, that's also called out based on the numbers that are written there. Okay, so here we go. So 2d6, and there are 3 of them. That's 11, and 11 is the engineer. Okay, right here. So the engineer, I'm going to put that there. Next one is 2. Oh, that's me. Oh, boy. Thanks, Ken. Didn't I say you always want to visualize what you do want, not what you don't want? And 11, so they're not cumulative, so that's good. Only 2 guys got hurt. Unfortunately, one of them was me. Then we have to see how bad. Okay? So, a light wound on a 1 through 3, a serious wound 4 through 5, or the game's over if I roll a 6, if I roll a 6 when it's me. Okay? So we'll start with the engineer. That's a serious injury, a serious wound on a 4. So the engineer a serious wound. Okay, and now, okay, here we go. A 6 and she's all over. So not yet, Patrick. After determining injuries, then you get to attack. Yeah. Yeah. Whew, serious injury. That was close. Serious wound on me. Well, the good news is it didn't matter what patrol we were going on. This is where it was going to happen. So the engineer, all repair rolls are +1, including repair roll when checking for additional flooding. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on there as a reminder that all of my repair rolls are +1. Okay? So now, flak attack. This, roll 2d6, add or subtract any modifiers. So what do we have? We have -1 if no flak gun is damaged. Flak Flak gun is seriously damaged. So disregard that. All right. So then what happens here? So we ignore it, and it's just a 2d6. We would like low numbers, please. And to be clear, again, because I'm showing you guys this, the flak attack is actually shown right here, okay? Okay, so here we go. We want a low number. That didn't count. That's a 5. 5 is damaged. So damage says resolve the second air attack if called for. There isn't. Then proceed to the next travel box. The encounter ends. So now we have to repair. All right. Oh, yeah, hold on. When the Commandant, KIA, ends the game, a serious wound results in the first warrant officer taking over the Commandant duty, and detection and a hit rolls are +1. Thank you for the reminder on that, Mira. Detection and, what did I say? And to hit is a +1. And that's actually shown right there on a DRM +1. There we go. Oh, shoot. It is. I apologize. It's 2d6 on the flak attack, isn't it? It's 2d6. I apologize. I'm so mulliganing in that. You're right. Thanks, Ken. That's a 9. That's a miss. So never mind. All right. So we successfully submerged. We go to the next travel box, but now we repair. And yes, and it's going to add to a lengthy delay between patrol. So that's going to suck. So repair. Hold on. And repair is 19. All right. So let's see what got damaged. Nothing on any of those. Flak gun, a 1 to 2. Here we go. Nope, it's inoperable. So, okay, no flak gun. Now, flak is going to be different than a deck gun. A flak gun is specifically for anti-aircraft, whereas the deck gun is, as you guys saw, to take out targets. All right? Oh, I misspoke about something, guys. For additional wounds sustained, they are cumulative if they're crew. So remember, the engineer took 2 hits. So we actually need to roll one more time for the engineer. So they are cumulative. So he got a serious wound. If he gets another serious wound, he's going to be killed. That was a 3, and a 3 is a light wound, so no worse than what it was. Okay. Whew. Let me go back to the aircraft patrol now. Hold on. And that was on 4, just to double check that, whether or not, yeah, he's going to call in an escort. Things go bad, they go really bad, really quick. 983, let me double check. Okay, it fires its flat gun against the enemy aircraft. Not all of the enemy or all of the flat guns were damaged, so I was allowed to use it. So just FYI. Okay, so now let's see. It is possible for the U-boat to shoot down an aircraft that sinks the U-boat. It happened several times historically. Okay. Okay, if it's a miss, it shadows the U-boat after completing its own attack. In effect, the engagement continues by consulting the additional round of combat table on the encounter chart. This may result in either an escort arriving, which then rolls for detection on the escort detection chart, or a new aircraft arriving on the scene. When rolling for detection, escorts do receive the previous detection modifier. Awesome. And you can't fire flak the second round. It's considered submerged at this point. Okay, so let me go back to the aircraft. Aircraft encounter. So I have to do now just a regular E1 encounter. Correct? Is that what it said? Yep. So we are going to a regular encounter. There you go. In the transit box. So 2, 3, or 12. All right. I believe is how I'm reading that, right? Let me double check. There. Yeah, because we're in transit, I am right. 2, 3, or 12. All right. Okay. No further deal with that. Now, patrol abort. Certain results require your U-boat to abort patrol as a direct result of a damaged system becoming inoperable, as specified on the damage and repair chart. Diesel engines, if those are inoperable, the Commandant can always abort a patrol voluntarily. This can be due to whatever reason the player decides, although this is normally due to significant U-boat damage or lack of torpedoes. Aborting a patrol does not necessarily mean the patrol is a failure. So, let's go to 752 on what would be technically a failure. At least one enemy ship is sunk is what would dictate whether or not it was a success. So we have a choice. Oh, okay, hold on. So it's an additional round, so maybe I screwed that up. So, okay, hold on. Another round of attacks. So, correct me if I'm wrong then, so you're saying we start back over here. So 2d6, hopefully roll big. That's a 5. You know what a 5 isn't? Big. However, it's one attack and a crew injury, but they're green, so it's going to be one less hit. So we're going to roll the 2d6. Oh, God. That's a 5. One less hit. So no hits, but a crew injury. But it's an air attack, so it's +2, so it's a 5, 6, 7 actually. The 7 is 2 hits, so -1 hit, and a crew attack. So, now we will roll based on this. 2, 5. And 2, 5, good news. That's here, so nothing worse. Yeah, I'm going off of what everyone is telling me, but placing damage markers. If this is the second, why is it a second round of attacks on E1? I guess that's what I'm not understanding. Yeah, yeah. And the crew injury now. So it's going to be a 2d6. That's 5. The doctor. So we're going to roll for his wound. It's just a 1d6 for the doc. The doc is a 6. Doc was killed. And when the doc is killed, all seriously wounded crewmen become KIA after each travel box roll of 1d6 on a 4 through 6. Where does it call that out, Ken? So by the way, so while Ken's getting back to me on that, the doctor. All seriously wounded crew become KIA after each travel box roll of 1d6 on a 4 through 6. Okay, well, if I roll a 4 through 6 for each of these, they're going to die. So we'll start here with the engineer. A 4 through 6. He's dead. Four through 6 and the game's over. Game's over. That was one hell of a strafing run. Oh, it's an okay. Where? Thanks, Brian. So hold on. In the third bullet, it's a roll on E1 in the additional round of combat column. Where is the additional combat column. Because I want to get this right for everybody at home. So 983 on E1. So, okay, hold on. Aha. Aha. Because it's not shown on that. Hold on. Okay, now it all makes sense. Additional round of combat. Right here. I have completely missed this. There we go. That's why we had another round of combat. Thank you. Finally. Now it makes sense. So that's why the second round of combat happened. And because of the second round of combat, okay. Thank you for that. Then, with the second round of combat, we had the doctor get killed. The doctor, when he's a light wound has no effect. A crew member with serious wound or killed in action cannot perform their duties, and the penalties apply. When the doctor is killed, all seriously wounded crew become KIA after each travel box roll. All right, so basically I have to roll for each seriously wounded, which was here and there, and they both died because I rolled a 4 through 6 on both of them, thus ended the life of my Commandant. Now, let's go to the end of the game here. I'm looking for the official if the Commandant becomes seriously wounded, nope. If the U-boat Commandant is killed in action, the game ends immediately. Proceed to check your victory level at 5-2. So 5-2 says, consult your log sheet at the end of your play and add up the total tonnage of ships sunk during your career. It was a short career. So we are looking at 32,600. There. Based on your total tonnage of enemy shipping sunk, your victory level and performance as a U-boat commander, commandant can be determined. Defeat is 0 to 49,999 tons sunk, or your U-boat is captured due to an unsuccessful scuttle attempt. You are a disgrace to the Kriegsmarine, your family, and yourself. If you have survived, consider it a career after war, or consider a career after the war on land. If your U-boat was captured, you've delivered a working Enigma code machine and other secrets into Allied hands, possibly sabotaging the entire U-boat campaign. I was just trying to go out on patrol, man. That's all I was trying to do. Yeah, Otto D. Hurd is not getting a film made about him. That is true. Or what not to do, apparently. Careful of them transit boxes. And Tracing, at least you keep your campaign short for a playthrough. That's twice. Man, and I was doing so well. Man, that second patrol was tasty. That was really good. That's so yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That is the Hunters. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I did. I think it's a blast. I think it's a hoot. It really is a lot of fun. Now, you don't need the 3-ring binder thing. You don't need the custom map. Although this is for combat. This is for your U-boat. Or you can print that. Cost me 21 bucks at Staples. So, and it's just on like a cardstock, and I keep it rolled up with a rubber band. There you go. It's approximately, because I know people are going to ask, it's approximately, I want to say like 33 inches by 20 or so. I think it's 33 by 20, thereabouts. If you print it, you know, actual size, whatever, all the chits fit in the boxes that you're supposed to. Oh, and actually, I'm really glad that you brought that up, Lawrence. He said the 3rd edition comes with some smaller versions of the map built in. So I wanted to go over this before I bug out of here. So let me show you guys. So yes, the difference between the 1st edition and 2nd edition apparently are just some clarifications in the rule book and an updated rule book. But the living rules are online, so you could get those printed if you wanted. So here, and I will zoom in a little so you guys can see this a little bit clearer. Okay, so this is what GMT sent me for the stream here, so that I had the updated materials here, okay? There you go. All right, so, and 2 patrol maps have been included for use by the player. Their use is completely optional in so much as patrols can be completely processed on a U-boat. Right. However, at the cost of a slightly larger playing footprint, players may find desirable. Okay, so let me show you guys this now. The maps that come in the 3rd edition, they're not double-sided. So that's essentially what this is, kind of. Okay. There's that one, and then there's this one. Okay, then, again, I mean, honestly, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, right? And then the other thing that it comes with are the Commandant cards, which, moment. Okay, Commandant cards. Players may wish to mirror the experiences of the top 10 German U-boat commandants. To do so, utilize one of the U-boat commandant cards provided. Each commandant has one or more special abilities based on historical incidents or facts. The cards specify the U-boats he used, a starting date, and his historical patrol zones. And you can choose either to roll random patrol zones, as we did in ours, right? Or in free patrol, the player can continue to run patrols until sunk, killed, or the end of the war. In the historical mirror, the player runs patrols to match the skipper. All right, so to give you an idea, so we have this, okay? And these are thick. I mean, those are almost, yeah, those are thick cardboard. So there you go. Those are the patrols and his awards that he got, okay? So go through these. Wolfgang Luth, Otto Kretschmer. I do not know, I am not familiar with any of them. Eric Topp. So let's see, 46 ships sunk, 273 tons. Or 273,000 tons, wow. 198. Henrik Lieb, Victor Schutz, Henrik Lehmann Willenbrock, Carl Frederick Murren, and Herbert Schultz. All right. And all of them have that on the back. All right. So there you go. So that's what comes in the third edition or the upgrade pack if you desire to get that. I don't know if it's free or if it costs anything and whatever. You can check the GMT website for all of that. Before I'm out of here, I'm going to edit. If I didn't, I don't think I did. I'm going to edit everything I used and put all the links down below in the description so that everybody has one-stop shopping. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did better than I did last time, but that still was an abject failure to the Kriegsmarine. So, what can you do? It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, give it a thumb down below. Subscribe to the channel. Both of those things help the channel out. Certainly would appreciate it. And if you found this entertaining, you think it's worth $1 or $2 a month to support the show, you can go to pledgehc.com, support the show there. Certainly would appreciate it. Happy May, everybody. And I will be back tomorrow at noon Eastern with Ground Floor 2nd Edition solo playthrough. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that was really a good time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. And I figure I will leave you guys with a picture of the map, because as somebody who is a mapophile, I think that is gorgeous. That is really, really pretty. All right, there you go. Hey, one other thing that I would ask is if you guys do order this, mention the GMT, tag them, whether it's on Twitter or in an email in your order, whatever, that you saw this over here. And we're inspired to order it there. I certainly would appreciate it, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go play some video games after I update stuff down below. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Be kind to one another. Continue practicing your social distancing. And I will see you guys tomorrow at noon. Take care, everybody. Bye. Wow, that was a bad transit box. Holy crap. Wow, that was ugly. Woo! Good Lord.